So how do you make your first $100,000 in real estate in the next 100 days? That's what today's show here on YouTube is all about. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. This isn't a promise to make unlimited income. What this is going to be a show of actionable items to get your first $100,000 check in the next 100 days. The first thing I want to focus on is where you are should you do business in your local market. What I'm teaching you here is called wholesaling real estate. It's a way to get into real estate with no license, no credit, no connections. You can wake up, get knocked out, wake up in a new city and do this and make as much money as you want to make if you follow these steps. The first step is, do you do business where you are, or do you do what's called virtual wholesaling? Okay, what virtual wholesaling is, I will be in Washington State or San Diego, where I live here in California, and I will do deals in Nebraska by just calling sellers there instead of going to properties in person. Or I could do deals here in San Diego. So how would I know? How would I differentiate whether I should do deals in my home market or whether I should go out into the world and do virtual wholesaling? The first thing I look for is population size. So if you have a population of 250,000 people or more, I recommend starting with your home state. I'll give you an example. Reno, Nevada, pretty small city. A lot of you guys probably haven't even heard of it. Reno, Nevada has a population of about 600,000 people. I'd recommend if you're in Reno, you start with your home area. That could be 2, 3, or 4 counties, but a population of about 250,000 or 250,000 people or more. If not, you can still do it. There's just going to be less deal flow. You're going to have to expand out in other markets quicker than I normally would recommend. The second thing is there a Chick-fil-A? I don't mean does there have to be a Chick-fil-A? No, but a restaurant like that's a big franchise chain, either shows one, they think there's going to be growth in that area, or two, there's already been enough growth in that area and the growth trend recommended these companies put a location. Because these companies have teams of data analysts that all they do is monitor where they should put a location, whether that is in an emerging city or a city that is already populated and already bussing. That is where you guys want to set up shop. Second thing is you guys have to be able to get data on people. I teach outbound marketing, cold calling and texting. So if we want to cold call and text, we need people to cold call and text, and not just random people. We need to know that they're interested or somewhat motivated to sell these properties. So how do we know if someone is interested and or motivated to sell a property? Well, my favorite way to know if someone's inclined in any way, shape, or form to sell a property is what I call the 1, 2, 3 rule. The 1, 2, 3 rule ranks people's motivation. So 1 is they have 1 reason to sell. 2, they have 2 reasons to sell. 3, they have 3 reasons to sell. We want to focus on as many people as possible that have 3 reasons to sell. There's 2 steps in doing this. First step is we sign up for a software I'm not affiliated, I'm not an owner of, called REI Sift. Okay, what REI Sift does is it allows us to compile lists and data of people who own homes, and it'll tell us who shows up on our 3 list. A lot of information in a short time period. The first thing we're going to do there, we're going to go to propstream.com. We're going to grab an absentee out-of-state list. We're also going to grab our absentee in-state list. We're also going to grab our vacant list. And we're also going to grab our tax delinquent list. So 4 lists in PropStream: absentee out-of-state, absentee in-state, vacant, and tax delinquent. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take that list and we are going to put it into our REI Sift. REI Sift is my favorite list stacker tool out there. I'm not affiliated. I'm not dropping an affiliate link below. I don't need to get paid from this. Go use them. I like them. I like what the owner is all about. And what you're going to do is you're going to take those 4 lists that you just bought from PropStream. You paid about $1 a record. So let's say you've spent $300. You spent $200 on REI Sift. You're going to upload that list to REI Sift, upload your data, and then REI Sift is going to tell you which people show up on 3 lists. An example of that could be someone lives out of state. So they're an absentee out of state. They also have a vacant home and it's in tax delinquency, meaning they haven't paid their tax bill and they live out of state and it's a vacant home. That's a motivated prospect. And the way you get a leg up getting into this business, getting into real estate and what's wholesaling real estate is you find these beat up homes and you get a leg up on your competition by talking to these 3 lists. 3 is they have 3 motivating factors why they'd want to sell this property. The next thing we need if we're going to text and call them is their phone numbers. Where do we get those? We're going to go to easybuttonskiptrace.com and we're going to submit our list. Within 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to get our list. The way we do this, we download our 3 lists from REI Sift. We upload it to Easy Button Skip Trace. Within 15 minutes, it'll come back with our records, our properties, and our owners with phone numbers. Now we're going to have our 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people that are on our 3 list for our area. And we're going to then put this into a software called batchdialer.com. What Batch Dialer is, it's a phone system we can then use to dial out to these people in real time. So we're going to get it into Batch Dialer. We're also going to put it in a software called Sherpa, leadsherpa.com, and we're going to text and we're going to call. In my bio, you can download all the free scripts to do both of those things. Our texting scripts, our cold call scripts, and you want to spend 3 hours a day texting and cold calling these people. If you spend 3 hours per day texting and cold calling these people, you will get about 1 person a day that expresses they might be interested in selling their home. You do that for 30 to 60 days, you have 40 to 60 people who want to potentially sell their home. Statistically speaking, even if you're a terrible salesperson, one of those people will be seriously interested. You'll put the home under contract using what's called a purchase and sale agreement, okay, which you can find again Again, in my bio, there's a free course that gives you a purchase and sale agreement. You can download that, get it under contract with what's called an and/or signed agreement. What an and/or signed agreement is, it's a clause in the contract that allows you to sell that contract to someone else. So once you have the home, you have the agreement signed and an and/or signed agreement, you will then go find a buyer from Facebook group or cashbuyersplus.com or InvestorLift, and you will send them that deal. Let's take an example. Let's say there is a house worth $200,000 and the seller agrees to sell it to us for $200,000 because it's a beat up. There's a car in the lot. It's a junkyard. They live out. You remember there are 3 lists. They live out of state. It's vacant and it's in tax delinquency. We put it under contract for $200,000. We don't buy it. We just put it under contract. We find a buyer on a Facebook group that says, hey, I think that home is worth $380 fixed up. I'll pay you $220 for it. So we assign using our clause with an assignment agreement, another 1-page agreement. You get my free course to the end buyer. The end buyer buys the house. We get the $20,000, the seller gets their $200,000, and the buyer gets the house. They flip it, they make their $40,000, $50,000. No real estate license. We did not represent either party. We just sold a piece of paper using an and/or signed clause. And I've gone on to do this over 100 times in a year, a couple years in a row. And it is a process that if I had to start over and I woke up in a new area, that's exactly what I would do. So if you're watching this video and you want to learn more about this, you can visit me on Instagram, on Twitter, every single social media platform. We have a free course, teaches you a lot more in depth, what contracts to use, how to use them, get set up and get your first deal done. Once you get your first deal done, if you want to work with me more closely one-on-one, you can go to offmarketoperator.com and I'm happy to talk to you and see if I can work with you more closely. But either way, this business is the gateway drug to entrepreneurship. Get out there, crush it. And like I say on my podcast, like I say when I speak on stage, you truly are only one deal away from changing your life forever.